The code arc is coming to an end in the manga, and it might be the final arc before the most awaited time skip hits the series. Code is all fired up to take his revenge from Konoha, but how exactly will he do it? In this video, we are gonna discuss the 3 different endings of the code arc and how it will take us to the dark transition. But before that, let's figure out the pros and cons that Code is having against Konoha. The follower of Ishiki seems to have a good amount of opportunities and obstacles in his war against the Leaf. The formidable Ten-Tails army is one of them. We haven't seen these monsters in action, and I'm pretty much sure that they can easily humiliate the people of the Leaf. During the war arc, Naruto could amp up the whole shinobi army with only the Nine-Tails chakra. Now imagine the potential of these soldiers who are purely made out of Ten-Tails chakra. They can easily wipe off the normal shinobis, and it would have been a total disaster if Konoha did not have Boruto, Kawaki and Demon in their team. A theory that I came up with is that Code could use his Ten-Tails army to devour other villages since they don't have any strong backup like Konoha. Once he does this, Konoha will be forced to send out the perpetrators of Ishiki for a one-on-one fight against Code's forces. Well, it doesn't seem like he's so smart, and the fact that his main targets are residing in Konoha, he will most likely not waste his time messing around with other villages. So what possible actions would Code take in the upcoming war? Well, I have come up with 3 possible outcomes of the final pre-time skip event, and all of them involve this bad guy. Before discussing them, let's take a look at a few more assets that he has privileged. The limitless form of Code must have some unseen abilities that are yet to be unveiled. Maybe some new shinjutsu alongside the claw marks, but it's just a rough assumption. The removal of Code's limiters was the main highlight of this arc, yet he was humiliated badly by Daemon once he reached that form. The anger and vindictiveness will make him go all out on the Leaf village, since he's more powerful than Jougan at this point. This also means that Naruto and Sasuke stand no chance against him, but they will still have a major role in the war, and I will get to that in a moment. On top of that, the claw marks of Code will also act as a vital asset in his war against the Leaf. Before the introduction of Shinjutsu, it was hard to guess that how he was able to do such a bewildering thing. If something similar had happened with the Ten-Tails during the war arc, it would have created a big problem for the heroes. However, it was far from reality back then, since nobody could perform Shinjutsu techniques during the events of Naruto Shippuden. Code could scatter his claw marks around and inside the Leaf village. That could help him to transport his Ten-Tails warriors from one place to another. The only problem he could face is Kawaki's shrinking ability and Aida's all-seeing power. If they both work in coordination, they could easily deal with the claw marks of Code. He might even find some more cyborgs to strengthen his alliance, but that's a topic for another video. So let's dive into the 3 possible ends of Boruto Part 1. The first possibility takes place right after the glimpse of future makes it to the series. The major event that would solve this mystery must be Momoshiki taking over Boruto to leave the village, while Kawaki scarring his eye in an attempt to stop him. The conflict between Team 7 and the Red Kama dude would eventually be stopped by the interference of Code and his army. I think he's gonna take somebody as hostage for sure, and then ends up with killing some important character. The end of Boruto Part 1 must have some cliffhanger, so here is something that would satisfy the Blue Eyes prophecy as well as Toneri's prediction. The scar on Boruto's eye would just be the beginning of his dark fate. Code attacking the village and killing either his sister or father might be the true prophecy of Momoshiki. If the prediction of the monster is bound to come true with the conclusion of Boruto Part 1, then the dark transition should also take place around the same time. Boruto leaving the village after losing an important person can act as the perfect ending of the Code arc. Code might either retreat or more likely gets killed by Kawaki, who's also enraged by the unfortunate incident. These harsh events will have the most heartbreaking impact on Boruto's life. Not only he gets neglected by the village, betrayed by his friend, but also loses the will of fire to move forward. This will be the time when the most epic cliffhanger shall take place and the Jogan will awaken in his blind eye. This theory is the most detailed and interesting one. It takes place right after the events of the Glimpse of Future. Code decides to go for an all-out attack on Konoha, which forces Kawaki and the others to participate in the battle. Even though there is a huge power gap between the OGs and Code, Naruto and Sasuke will still take part in the war. And guess what? They both will die. The death of Naruto will have a massive impact on Kawaki's character, as the Red Kama guy must have pledged to save him at all costs. He will blame the passing of Naruto onto himself, which explains why he says this in the time skip. The reason I believe he's after Boruto's life is pretty simple. He holds a serious grudge against the Otsutsuki's and does not want them to disrupt the lives of normal people. The reason he wants the shinobi age to end also has something to do with Naruto. The ninja morals that Naruto grew up with made him stand against the enemies as the Hokage, even after the insane power gap. Kawaki must have told Naruto to leave everything on him, but the Hokage refused and ended up sacrificing himself thanks to his shinobi upbringing. This must have forced Kawaki into thinking that Shinobis are just tools who die for other people, and the system needs reformation. Recently in the manga, Amado has revealed the true motive behind giving Kawaki the new karma. Maybe all of it makes Kawaki feel like he's being used by others, which acts as the beginning of his tremendous advancement. The death of Sasuke must have a similar impact on Boruto's life. That's why he's seen with his outfit and stuff in the future. However, Boruto stays true to his ninja roots, which ends up in him getting blessed with the Jogan. Sasuke's death will act as a trigger for another major event, which is the Mangekyo awakening of Sarada. There have already been foreshadowings of his death, since he is too desperate to show his resolve of saving the world, advising Boruto not to lose hope and save the shinobi world, since he's arguably one of the most powerful beings on the planet, will definitely fulfill his resolve. The third and final theory draws out the possibility of the glimpse of future being the final event before the time skip and Code's attack taking place right after the transition. I have plenty of reasons to consider this a plausible possibility, so hear me out. Usually there are 4 chapters in a single volume of the Boruto manga. Chapters 72 to 75 will be compiled in the 19th volume on 3rd of February 2023. Chapter 76 will be the first chapter of the 20th volume, followed by 3 more chapters. So if the upcoming volume is the finale of pre-time skip Boruto, then the next 3 chapters must cover some major events to set up the time jump. The glimpse of future acting as a cliffhanger to the time skip becomes more plausible in this way. Not only that, Himawari wants to become a shinobi in order to help her brother. She must be at least 12 years of age to become a genin, or maybe even a chunin if she is more talented. Amado's daughter has passed away 12 years ago, and I think Himawari shares some connection to it. Since she wants to be a shinobi, she will definitely take part in the war against Code, and guess what? She will die. The perfect trigger for both of the Kama brothers to separate their ways in the quest of life. If this theory turns out to be true, then Code's attack might happen as the very first event of the time skip. While Kawaki would see Shinobi system as the cause of Hima's death, Boruto would leave the village and go totally depressed, as prophesied by Momoshiki. However, the plot armor will drop and the Jogan will awaken in Boruto's eye, granting him a magical hope against Kawaki's devious plan. But there is more to it. I feel like Code has released the Tendrils in this scene, and to protect Naruto and all the citizens, Kawaki sent them to a different realm. He wants the ninja way of dealing with hardships to end, as it has already caused them a lot of casualties. That's why he wants the shinobi system to diminish alongside the defeat of Code. Boruto on the other hand wants to deal with Code in the shinobi way, even if it costs him his own life. If you have come so far, here's the bonus theory for you. I think Code's plan is to transfer the Tendrils minions to Konoha in order to fuse them and release the tailed beast in the village. The divine fruit might have been harvested in the future, and Kawaki is trying to show his resolve by evacuating the whole village. He doesn't even want Boruto to fight against Code for some reasons, maybe because he feels like superior to everything else, and the only one who can bring an end to the dark times. If Kawaki and Boruto both are upright in the future, whom did Code sacrifice to the Jubi? Well, the answer might shock you a bit, but there is a high chance that it's Akebi, the daughter of Amado. I came to this conclusion because the scientist ain't himself sure what will happen when Kawaki implants the Kama onto Akebi's clone. She could even become an Otsutsuki, or at least have Otsutsuki DNA in her. Subscribe for a full video on this. Keeping all the possibilities in mind, what exactly could be the significance of the Blue Eyes prophecy? Momoshiki's prophecy has changed, and what it means for Boruto will completely blow your mind. The infamous prophecy of Boruto chapter 10, where Momoshiki talked about the blue eyes, is not the same anymore. In chapter 76, Boruto recalled Momoshiki saying those blue eyes, which refers